Can we talk about the difference between adapting to a situation, or person, place, or thing, opposed to adopting a system, a way of living, or a thing? I have said several times to many people that it's okay to adapt to a situation that you find yourself in. However, it's not wise to adopt to it. And I'll give you my understanding or my version of what I'm saying. This is what I've said several times, countless times, as I find myself counseling younger people. Here's an example. Suppose, I guess that's a better word to use, suppose, instead of hypothetically. Anyway, forgive my memory. Suppose that you're used to living on a $50,000 a year budget, right? Then you find that your budget has been cut. You come from 50,000 down to 35,000. That's also going to influence a lot of things that you were doing, which made your life a little more comfortable. So you have to cut back. You have to, the things that you would do quite frequently, instead of you doing them quite frequently, you may do them maybe like once or twice a month. Especially if you're trying to save money for something, grand, like buying a new house or a car, maybe a new yacht. Why not? So here it is. You would normally go out and have your $130 meal, a couple of times a month. But now that your income has been cut, you have to change that. Well, it's not that you're adopting the mindset of being broke or poor or something like that. You're now adapting to your environment, adapting to your money, your way of living, instead of you still trying to live on a champagne budget. Now you have to digress to a beer budget, so to speak. So instead of thinking that now that I'm not making the kind of money I used to, and don't allow your mind to go down to a lower form of thinking from where you were. Just adapt to your environment, your situation, but don't adopt it. Same thing applies to people that's in prison. You go to prison, you probably was a nice person on the outside. You would give a person a shirt off your back. However, now you're around a bunch of people that want to call themselves bullies and stuff. Okay? I'm not telling you to adopt their ways, and adopting their ways is like owning it as if it is really yours, something that you grew up with, you were born and bred that way. No. Adapt to the situation. Adapt to the environment. Fit in where you can. But continue to be you. But if you have to be that bulldog in that pit, you be that bulldog in the pit. But remember who you are. Don't get caught up, in everybody else's stuff, and then assume that that's who you are, because that is not who you are. It's okay to adapt to your circumstances and situations, but don't allow yourself to be so caught up in it where you actually adopt it. Okay? And this may be a little bit too stretched out there for you, but whatever lifestyle that you had when you was on the outside, or wherever you at, don't put that down and adopt somebody else's if it's not for a good reason, And that brings me to think about something else. When, as children are growing up, all children, including us that are grown now, because we still are growing up, And we'll never be so grown that we're not seen as children in the eyes of God. But as growing up, we come in here like a blank slate. Only thing we know is lovable and being forgivable. Only thing we know is laughter, hunger, when it's time to eat, when it's time to sleep, stuff like that, right? But as we begin to get older, we start interacting with other people as well as our parents, especially our mother. The mother is the one that plays with us, that talks to us and stuff as we're growing up. And our little minds begin to start being activated, So here you are, interacting with your mom, and she's making all them noises. Ooh, wow, wee, whoa, 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 whoa. You know how moms do. Because I love being that kind of person. I do that with anybody's children, if they allow me. Because I love babies. Anyway. And the more that they interact with the child, it causes the child to start having what we would call, it start developing their building blocks emotionally, of their character. And it helps the child to identify what he or she want in their life opposed to what he and she don't. Because as the child grows up, the child will begin to adopt certain qualities of each individual that they come in contact with. And as they see the results of that other person's characteristics or character, and if they see it as reward, they will keep that. So that means they adopted that to be as part of them, of who they are. That was who they identify themselves as being. But if they see it, that this person has done this and they thought it was such a grand thing, and then all of a sudden they see what the repercussions are towards whatever it is that they did, if it was something negative, then it's like a computer. They dump that. Okay, I don't want that in my life. They let it go. Adaptability. It's okay to adapt to a situation, a place, or a thing. But don't adopt it if it's nothing that's going to bring you something good. One of my children, 2 weeks old, was rolling over. 2 weeks old. Right? 2 weeks old. I was playing with her, winking one eye, and then I laughed. Wink the other eye, then I laugh. Wink both eyes, then I laugh. Then I go, whoo, right? A few days later, around 11 o'clock at night, ain't nobody up but me and this little baby. The baby looked at me and went. And I laughed, and I thought that was funny. And then all of a sudden, another mind kicked in and said, hey, that's not normal. That's not normal. That's not normal for a baby to do that. And she did it again. And then she laughed like that. Couldn't really laugh, but. And I said, you're not supposed to be able to do that. And the baby looked at me, and the face got all frowned up, and the feelings were hurt. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. But that baby had, that baby was something else. That baby grew up. The baby was born with attitude. I won't lie. I had a lot of attitude when I pregnant that child. But anyway, let me get back on the subject. But yeah, that building blocks of a child's character, and it starts from the moment that they're born until I will say until about 15 or 16 years old. is when they may have developed enough where, I mean, they're not super impressionable anymore. Don't hold me to that. I don't really know. I'm not an expert in that area. I'm just assuming because I'm going by some things, relatives I know. I can't say that children are not the same as it was when I was growing up. But we can leave that for another day. This is about adopting and adapting. It's okay to adapt to your environment. You know, if you run a bunch of people that all they want to do is they messy, around a bunch of messy people, and you know they're messy. You adapt to the situation. That don't mean become what they are. That don't mean to adopt their way, you know. It just means, okay, they messy. They like to keep a mess. I know what not to say and what to say, how far to allow my conversations to go. You're adapting to your environment. But that don't mean that you're becoming your environment. Okay? So I hope this helps whoever it is that may have some peer pressure, find themselves in positions where they feel like that in order to be able to get along, they have to become part of the gang or the group, you know, so, you know, they don't get beat up. And let me say this, since I said something about being beat up. I remember being in like about 5th grade, right? That was this female chick. She come from another school. Oh, she was bad. I ain't gonna lie, she was bad. She was a bad mama. She had a bad habit of going around, you know, bullying people. Well, I was a quiet person in my classroom, you know. So I guess she felt like that it was time to jump my way, but, you know, pigs didn't fly that day. Pigs didn't fly. So she decided to tell me, hey, girl, I'm going to kick your butt after school. Now, as I was growing up, I won't lie to you, I've always had this little baby face, and I always looked like that I was easy to intimidate. So after school, it was her and maybe about, I would say 10, 12 children. All of them want to follow her down the street to where I live. Well, I actually lived across the street from the school, so no biggie for me. And she said, hey, girl, I'm going to kick your butt. I said, really? Yeah. I said, okay. They were like, yeah, we're going to jump you. Well, I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Don't take no ass whipping. Because see, when you in the right, God is on your side. God ain't gonna let you he ain't gonna let you be the one to get humiliated. So here it is. She decided that she was gonna jump me. And then she had a few more of her friends decided they want to come too. And well, you already know. I didn't take no butt whooping. And there was no fight. In fact, when she realized that I wasn't going to back down, she said, oh, she's not even worth it. Come on, y'all, let's go. No, because you thought about it. You thought you was dealing with a punk. Don't take that the way most people mean. Punk means really a dried up piece of wood. But anyway, she thought she was dealing with somebody that was weak-minded or weak, that would tuck their tail in, you know, and allow somebody to beat them up. Now, I couldn't understand why my little friend that lived across on the other side of the schoolyard. Here she is. She done ganged up with the young girl too, you know. And I'm trying to figure out, now, your behind is the most scariest thing I ever seen, and all of a sudden now you can jump back. But you don't have to let nobody bully you. You don't have to let peer pressure or your peers pressure you into becoming something that you're not, or something that you don't identify yourself as, or adopt being a bully when you know you're not. You know, about a year later, the same girl that was jumping for bad and stuff on the roof, everybody was pregnant. She wanted to be my friend now. She had a set of brothers that was twins. And the brother that wanted to be bad too, he wanted to be my boyfriend. I don't play that. Matter of fact, I don't think I had not one boyfriend the whole time I was in school. That ain't right. That ain't right. Y'all, I'm having too many flashbacks while I'm doing this video, but it's supposed to be about adopting and adapting. So, anyway, that's my take on that for right now. You know, this has been pushing on me all day long. You know, it's been like, you need to say something about adapting and adopting. So here it is. There's nothing wrong with adapting to your situation. You might be riding in the car with a bunch of people that smoke marijuana. You don't smoke. Do that mean that you got to smoke because you ride? No. If you don't believe it, don't do it. You know, I know it's easier said than done, but hey, don't do it. You know, and if you just have to be pushed in and taking a square, just take the square and hold it in your hand and talk. Yeah. And keep on pretending like you're going to put it to your mouth and smoke, but and keep on talking. This here, man, here. Because eventually they're going to tell you, oh, you ain't doing it right. Just, you keep letting it go out or something like that. And they're going to stop passing it to you. You hear what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just, I'm just throwing something out there. You don't drink, don't drink, And if you just have to drink something, go get you one of those non-alcoholic drinks or something like that. Make sure when you come around, you already got something in your hand, like a Coke or a Sprite or something like that. A can of tea or something like, But I will tell you this here, in the long run, you'd be surprised how many people that were bullies tried to peer pressure you into something that you really didn't condone. They will come back in your lifetime and tell you, they wish they would have been more like you. They wish that their parents would have been more strict like your parents were. They wish that your parents would have been their parents because they feel like their life would have came out different and better. Don't allow somebody to peer pressure you into doing something that you know that you really don't want to do or be a part of, because you'd be surprised that that person, the person that's trying to push you into that, is a person that wish they were you. And sometimes people can't really come out and tell you that they wish they was you. People won't tell you that they think you're pretty. Instead, they rather find a way to hurt you, and belittle you. Even go as far as doing some other stuff that is unethical, because they never learn. And they taught this here in elementary school, like in the first grade. When you find people that come up to you and want to hurt you and stuff for no apparent reason, it's because they feel intimidated. They're intimidated by your looks, by your walk, by your characteristics, by the things that you've accomplished in your life. Instead of them being happy for you, they actually are jealous, or in the back of their mind they said, I wish such and such and such. I taught my family members, the younger ones, I say, don't just stare at a person when you see them. If there's something about them that you like, their clothes, their hair, something, just tell them, just compliment them. They keep you from staring at a person and causing them to feel uncomfortable. And that works. We don't have to just stare at people. And watch them everywhere they go. No, don't do that. Just say, girl, your hair sure looking good. Oh, you're working at outfit. Because, I don't have no problem telling about the person how they look. I don't. And that don't mean that, that I'm leaning toward the same sex. I mean, I'm comfortable with who I am. And I don't have a problem with telling you, if you're looking good, you got it going on. I'm going to tell you that, hey. And I ain't going to feel nothing bad about it, because it makes me feel good to see another sister looking good. And she's strutting that stuff. That's right. Because I've said this several times. And some of us gonna get it and some ain't. But when you walk in a room, own it. Own the room. Now, if you're not an alpha female, you're not gonna get this. And there's a lot of men have a problem with alpha females because they say you too pushy or you want to be controlling. It's not that. We know what we like, what we want, and we're not gonna settle for nothing less. However, I will say I've had my share of having to adapt to a situation, but I didn't adopt it. And we can also call that compromising, if you want to use that as another term. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it, share it, and I'll be glad to come back and do another one for you. Take care.